Hello and welcome to all of you out there who may be listening either live with me or later. This is Beth with Divine Me Time, and I am here to support your commitment to healing and knowing your true self by offering these monthly alignments that are inspirations and practices around either a healing topic or some facet of our awakening. These are based on my blog at my website, divinemetime.com. And we're going to go there now to January's entry. So, hello everybody. Okay, So this is the first official alignment that I'm offering. I've done a few practice runs. Originally, I was thinking that these would be live but unlisted. But really at this point, I don't exactly have a huge following. And so I'm just going to put these out there with the chat for everyone. And this way I don't have to re-upload and cut and do all sorts of extra work. And I want to make these organic and easy for me and enjoy the process. So I hope you do too. Okay, let's talk about the subtle trap of trying too hard. So every sincere seeker eventually falls into the same paradox. We want awakening, and we want it badly, so we try everything. We chase peace, love, stillness, but the very effort to get there soon becomes the obstacle. So many of us strive for awakening, happiness, fulfillment, or love as if they're distant states that we must achieve. However, they are not something we can force or manufacture. And when it comes to, the spiritual seeker, there are a lot of ideas around the ego and killing the ego. While aspects of that may be necessary, ego is also essential to our ability to function in the world. So we get trapped when we think we have to annihilate some aspect of ourselves, when we have to fix some aspect of ourselves before we can know who we truly are. And that's the myth. And when we believe in that myth, we fall into the trap of trying too hard because we're trying to make something happen that doesn't need to happen and that maybe can't even happen. So in truth, light doesn't even need to be created. It's always there. You are that light. Our work is simply to remove the layers that obscure it. This is at the heart of nearly every wisdom tradition. The Buddha called it removing the defilements. The Sufis called it polishing the mirror of the heart. In the Christian mystic tradition, it's cleansing the doors of perception. And because there seems to be work to do, we tend to think there's something wrong with us that we must fix. We start our journey from a misguided assumption that one of my former teachers used to call the myth of our imperfection. And when we start our journey from that place, we go forward with that assumption in place, and it colors everything that we do. Think of it this way. If you were in Hong Kong but believed yourself to be on the moon, how might that error of orientation make your journey to Greece more difficult, if not seemingly impossible? If we believe we're somehow imperfect at the very start of our quest, we're already operating with or from a powerful falsehood that will usurp and expend a lot of unnecessary energy. And while maybe the experience of this part of the process is necessary, but at some point it becomes a trap. At some point, we just are never thinking we're good enough. We're never getting anywhere. While we cannot quicken our awakening, we cannot quicken our awakening for the same reason the heart can't be commanded to love and a flower can't be commanded to blossom. All of our efforts to be perfect ourselves must be kept in perspective. The mind can only prepare the space, but the flowering happens on its own through grace. I was listening to a satsang, a teaching by Muji, who you may be aware of. He's a non-dual teacher. And he was saying how there's nothing we can do. We can't force the awakening, but it's important to never stop trying. I thought that was such a beautiful and relevant saying for this alignment. We must first and foremost be willing to consider that we might actually be perfect already in our true nature. So I'm not talking about our person, the persona, the identity. This doesn't mean that we stop our practices and we sit back and do nothing, as Muji said. It means we work skillfully on what we actually can do, which is clearing the clutter and misunderstandings that blocks what's already present. Awakening happens naturally when the obstacles to awareness are released. Peace arises when resistance softens. Love flows when the fear of our imperfection is no longer guarding our door. When we stop taking everything, including ourselves, personally. And this quote from Rumi, just to reiterate, your task is not to seek for love. It's what you are. But merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So, the art of removing obstacles. It's not obvious that the sun is always shining even on a cloudy day. Oh, is it not? Sorry, that's a question. Is it not obvious that the sun is always shining even on a cloudy day? Sometimes it's not so obvious. You are the sun, not the clouds. Each obstacle we remove, be it an old story, a self-judgment, or an unprocessed emotion, is like a cloud. Removing it allows more of our natural state to shine through. In practical terms, the work of healing might look like acknowledging pain instead of bypassing it or denying it. Breathing into tension instead of resisting it. Choosing gentleness over constant self-improvement. Seeing others as mirrors rather than enemies. And being disciplined in our practices. None of this arises from the idea that we are inherently flawed. None of these force awakening, but all of it invites it. The work isn't glamorous, it's daily, it's patient and humble. Noticing tension, meeting resistance, and allowing space for life to move again. But this is the real alchemy, removing what is false so the true can shine. This is what these alignments are all about. And this is what a commitment to healing and knowing your true self is all about, which is the overarching theme of my website, Divine Me Time. So consciousness is not an achievement. Trying to make ourselves enlightened is just another form of wanting to control. And awakening turns into just another egoic self-improvement project disguised as spirituality. And I've seen this again and again so many times. People who are on the path operating from the assumption that there's something that they need to do or fix, and not being able to distinguish between the persona, the identity, and their true nature. You are already divine. That's the truth of your being. But that divinity is covered up by all that other stuff you think you are. It's all in the head. But genuine awakening is an undoing, not a doing. It happens when we stop defending, pretending, and forcing. Modern neuroscience and ancient wisdom are meeting around this shared insight. Consciousness expands through integration, not domination. Imagine that. So, living the practice. So this month, when you catch yourself striving to overcome yourself, and this can include wanting to feel better, wanting to push away something uncomfortable, ask yourself what feeling you are pushing away or against, and maybe ask why. That question alone can bring you back into alignment with what's real. And often, right there in softening around what is uncomfortable, a quiet peace arrives. As our practice this month, I offer up music as medicine. So we're going to watch this video together. It's a song that I wrote. I have a separate music channel on YouTube. I will share that in the description after the video posts. So we're going to listen to it together, watch the video, and simply let the words wash over you and through you. Take it in. It's an energetic transmission and a musical transmission. And we will do that right now. So let me hope this works here. Okay, so I have to change scenes. So I'm using, I know I've already said this, but I'm using, in other alignments, that I'm using OBS. And, you know, despite the fact that I've practiced with it, every time I use it, it's like using it for the first time again. So getting better at it slowly though. Okay, so we need to go to this page. Ta-da! And then I need to start that video. Okay, here we go. In fact, before I start playing it, go ahead and just make sure that you're sitting comfortably. Maybe feet on the floor, back straight. Rest your hands on your lap, perhaps, just whatever's comfortable, but so that you can relax. And then just feel yourself grounding into whatever surface you're on. Feel how it supports your body. Breathe. And with each exhalation, drop any tension that you may be holding. Drop any residual emotional energy from the day. Drop as much as you can of your sense of self, who you are on the personal identity level. Relax. Let tension in the face, jaw, eyes melt. And with that melting, let it continue into the muscles of the neck and shoulders. Deeper now into the muscles around the heart and down into the solar plexus, lower abdomen, draining down the legs, through the feet, letting go of holding, of resistance, and being willing to accept that you may already be absolutely perfect. You can keep your eyes closed or you can watch the video with me here.
Nothing here but space. Behind us is eternity. Beneath us no floor. Whichever way we stay, we can scale
Just allow a deep breath. We are in a time of great transformation, and we were born for these times. You were born for these times. So if your eyes are closed, feel free to open them now. Just take a moment to be gentle with yourself. Now, while this month the alignment was music, it may be a meditation, it may be a movement practice. It will be different and kind of depending on the topic, just so you know. And if you've enjoyed things so far, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate you hitting the like and notification bell and subscribing if you haven't already. I am not big on social media. I really don't like it, and I don't use it, and that does impact my ability to reach people. So if you know someone who would benefit from watching this, it would be so helpful if you would share it. And I also want to give a shout to my BitChute people who might be watching the replay there. So, is there anything else? Okay, so let's finish up with the post. So also every month I will offer up some journal prompts. Journaling is a really good way to gain some clarity, to work through things. And so if that is something that you like to do, I'll give you some ideas to work with this month's theme. Am I ready to embrace, or at least consider the notion that I am essentially perfect already? And this isn't it's not a simple thing. You can't just say, okay, yeah, I'm perfect. There are a lot of ins and outs and twists and turns to it. And so get really curious about what it means and just follow the trail, see where it leads you. What am I trying too hard to make happen right now? Whether that's feel better or different, or change your life in some way, or change someone else in some way, or your situation. Just look at how you might be overexerting or applying pressure and control where it's just an expensive energy because it's not going to change anything. It's especially true when it comes to other people. And then what would shift if I stopped forcing and just started allowing? And sometimes with that has to come acceptance. Of course, acceptance is a really good sign that we are healing. So, in closing, the world doesn't need more people trying to be spiritual or prove how spiritual they already are. It needs those committed to knowing and disciplined enough to merit the grace of knowing. It needs more people willing to simply be spacious enough to let the light through. When we stop building walls, awakening walks in on its own. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, be gentle with yourself. I'll see you in February. Bye-bye for now.